Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be going over the Afterlives Maldraxxus video, trailer, short, whatever you want to call it. This is the second one in a series of four. They come out in the order that you level in, so it's Bastion, Maldraxxus, Ardenweld, and then Revendreth. So this is the second one. The way I'm going to go through it is I'm just going to go through the video first and highlight the things that happen, and then I'll expand on it and give my thoughts a little bit more detail at the end. So let's get right into it here. We start the video with Draka on the screen. Draka is Thrall's mother, orc, big character for the Horde, slightly big character for the Horde. Alliance don't really deal with her very much, but she's fighting just vigorously, hard-fought battle before she died, like it's showing her fighting. Before she died, we even see a baby Thrall on the ground there. And she's just kind of giving a tiny bit of her backstory for context here. And she mentions that Thrall mattered the most to her, so in my opinion that kind of foreshadows that she will probably meet up with Thrall in Shadowlands. We next see a map of Maldraxxus and a little bit of info on that area. So like basically, again, giving context, giving some information about Maldraxxus. She mentions there are 5 houses. She is in the House of Eyes. This is a roguelike house. However, she was a warrior. Like if she had a class in World of Warcraft, she would be a warrior. I think this could be a very important little hint of information here, and I'll get into that later when I go into more details. During this montage, we see a puzzling scene. What looks like Felguard and Draka stealing a document from them. Now, some people think it's just Blizzard reusing some artwork for this, which is definitely possible. But what would be more intriguing is if the Burning Legion comes into play here. They already have a connection via Lich King to this expansion, at least from the old lore, so we'll see. And I'll get into that more later as well. The House of Plagues, that's one of the 5 houses I mentioned, that was destroyed. It sounds like sabotage from the context of the story around it. They don't go into detail how it was destroyed. And it sounds like the House of Eyes, which is Draka's house again, and the House of the Chosen are together, and the other 2 remaining are the bad ones. And I actually know that to be the case from playing the beta. So you can draw it from the video, but I do happen to know that to be the case. We see Draka riding away from the House of Eyes main base, which is like in the air, like Naxxramas or Arceus, with an important message from her leader that and her house is just completely blown out of the sky, destroyed. Draka is then attacked herself, but she uses her new skills as a rogue basically and fights and kills them. She arrives with the message in a giant sack of what I think are skulls, probably from the things she killed. She had mentioned they're from the traders, so I thought that was kind of neat. The message says, "I offer the key to saving Maldraxxus, but Draka has no key." So it's basically inferred that she is the key. This is my point from earlier, that she was placed in the House of Eyes for a reason, which again I'll expand on more on what that could mean, as it's not her natural place. It's like not her natural house to be in necessarily. The video ends with her embracing fully her new self, Baroness of the House of the Chosen and Protector of Maldraxxus. And she becomes Baroness through reasons you will see when you level up in the Shadowlands. So overall, this video was not as good as the Bastion one. I feel bad saying that because I do support the team so much that makes these. But this one, it had a lot to live up to with Uther and Arthas. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Draka is a fairly key figure for the Horde, but not even the biggest Horde figure, you know, and almost has no like lore references within the Alliance playing. And I'm talking specifically World of Warcraft, has very little references in the Alliance side. So it's not like Uther, who most people know who Uther is, even the Horde, and then all the Horde know who Arthas is, even though he was technically an Alliance or a human, you know. So I think it had a lot to live up to with that, and only focusing on Draka, I think, if you wanted to make a big splash, was a mistake. However, it was probably for a reason. And it was probably focused on Draka because she probably is this key. She was probably placed in the house for a reason. All things that I'm going to kind of expand on here. And so there probably was a method to the madness. Overall, not as good as the Bastion one. We'll see how Ardenweld holds up when that comes out. Next, I'm going to talk about the two major things that I kind of highlighted a little bit when I was going through my run through there. So why was Draka sent to the House of Eyes, which is basically rogues, for the most part, when she's really a warrior? I think this is for a reason. I think she's going to need these skills to overcome whatever we are to overcome during our Shadowlands time, and I think she'll be a major factor in this. She'll have a major role to play, and if she wouldn't have been sent to the House of Eyes, she would never have acquired these skills. She would have been only a warrior. They made sure to highlight her going into her stealth multiple times during the video, so I think that could be a big part of it. Maybe she ends up like stabbing the jailer in the back, or some other key figure. It doesn't have to be the jailer. So I think that could be a big thing as well. And I think it has a reason. So the Arbiter chooses where you go, essentially. And so maybe the Arbiter chose for Draka to go there because maybe the Arbiter kind of knew this stuff was going to be happening. That's all possible. So we'll see how it plays out, but that's kind of my theory on that. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the whole demon thing being shown. Because this could be artwork, it could be people just spotting this and being like, hey, that doesn't make sense. That's completely possible, and if you want to criticize them for that, that's fine. You can have an opinion. I'm fine with it. I've seen other arguments about reusing artwork is fine, and I'm fine with it. But if you don't like it, that's fine, if that ends up being what it really is. However, I kind of like the theory that maybe Maldraxxus have fought the Legion before. Maybe the Legion has invaded Shadowlands before. Or maybe somehow there's a way Maldraxxus can go to another world or another realm and fight off enemies in a very serious situation. We don't know those answers for sure, of course, but I think that's a very intriguing possibility. The big thing we have to focus on here, in my opinion, is that the Lich King's helmet and sword were created in the lore by Dreadlords. And however, what we know is, if you don't know this, at the top of the Tower of Torghast, there's a blacksmith that's chained up. He's an ancient being, much like the jailer in some ways is referred to, and he has no memory really of his former life. It wasn't like torture. He's just like too old and been chained there for too long kind of thing. Maybe they took the memories from him, but this could go multiple ways. If he somehow is a Dreadlord, when he died, he should have went to the Twisting Nether. However, is there some way? Was he half? Was he something else? Or was the armor really not made by Dreadlords? Maybe that was like all a facade. Maybe Kil'jaeden, I think it was, who commissioned it. I don't think it was Sargeras. I'd have to go through and read again, but whoever commissioned making that armor, essentially, maybe they couldn't make it. Maybe they had to get it made for him by some other being. Maybe it's just one of the a being from one of the first worlds that they conquered, right? So there's all kinds of possibilities here. It could be all kinds of things, but I do think they will tie in the Legion in some way. They don't have to make it a major part. It doesn't have to be, we just had literally the expansion called Legion a couple expansions ago, so it doesn't have to be a major part, but I would like to see that tied in. And I think, I don't think, I hope that was like a little bit of a nod to that in this video, showing that, and I just kind of hope that's what it is, really, right? So I think that'll be really cool if they're able to tie that in any way. They don't have to make it the focal point, but just tie that in, and I would be very happy with it. So that's about it for this one. This video was 2 minutes less long or so than the Bastion one, so a little bit quicker video. Please subscribe to the channel because that helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody have a good one.